Hi there, crochet nerds. This is Ashley with Marshflower Studio. You will have to pardon my voice and some potential coughing because my allergies are still in full swing. I get a couple breaks a year where they're not bothering me, but for the most part, this is kind of what I sound like. So, in an effort to continue getting you guys some videos, I'm going to try to power through it. In this one, I'm going to show you how to make a heart keychain with the little heart appliques. So I've got a red one already finished here. So that's what it looks like. The first one, I always just kind of tie off with a little square knot in the back and trim the tails because that'll be on the inside when we're done and nobody will ever see it. So I've got worsted weight yarn that you can find anywhere. I am using my 4mm hook for these. Just keeps the stitches a little bit tighter for me so that they don't end up with really big holes. But it's a personal preference thing, so use what you're comfortable with. Okay, so we are going to start with a magic circle. And we are putting 10 double crochets in our magic circle. And whenever I'm doing double crochets or treble crochets in a magic circle, I will do a chain 1 just so that very first double isn't getting pulled down to the side. Typically, if I'm doing single crochets, I don't mess with doing a chain 1. But again, it's a personal preference thing. You can do it, you cannot do it. Totally up to you. It's not going to make that big of a difference in your finished product. Now, some people will tell you that it does. I have never found a difference. And I've been doing this for a really long time. All right, so 10 double crochets in the magic circle. You will also have the joy today of listening to some tiny tornadoes in the background, I'm sure, because they are very excited about some Miss Rachel right now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okie doke. So I'll pull that tight. And I will join into the top of this first double crochet, not the chain 1, but that first double crochet that we made. I'll do a little slip stitch to join that together. Okay. So then we'll do a chain 2. And in that same stitch where I joined and did my chain 2, I'm going to drop my hook first of all. Okay, back on track. I'm going to do 3 treble crochets. So for anybody that hasn't done treble crochets before, they're not hard, but they can be a little wonky until you kind of get the hang of it. So I'm going to yarn over twice. I'm going to go down through my stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. I'm going to yarn over and pull through the first 2, yarn over and pull through 2 again, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. So that's 1 treble crochet, and we need 2 more. So we'll do another treble. Okay, so there's 3 trebles in that same stitch together. So we're going to move to the next stitch over, and we're going to do the same thing. 3 more trebles in this stitch together. So there's 1, 2, and 3. All right, so in the next stitch, we're going to put a double crochet and a half double crochet. Okay, so there's my double, and there's my half double, and then we're going to have 2 single crochets. So the next stitch over, single crochet, stitch over, single crochet. All right, then we're going to have 3 stitches in the next stitch all together. We're going to have a single crochet and then a double. There's my double, and then another single. So there's 3 stitches again in the same hole together. And we're going to have 2 more just single crochets by themselves. And then we will have in the same stitch together a half double and then a double. So we're just mirroring what we have on the other side. So over here, at this point, we had a double and then a half double. So the half double needs to be on the bottom side of this heart. So we did the half double first over here and then the double. Okay, so then in our next stitch, we're going to do 3 trebles. One, 2, and 3. And then in this little spot where I joined, sorry, I keep moving off to the side. In that join, I'm going to do 3 more treble crochets. So depending on, you know, where you start, and if you skip that first one, that first stitch when you're doing your 3 trebles, you might not end up with enough stitches. I do this because it makes this top part a little tighter and a little bit more pointed. Whereas if you had, let's say, 11 double crochets down here, there'd be a little bit of a gap in between where this heart kind of comes into the top. So I'm going to put 3 trebles in that join stitch. Okay, and then we're going to do a chain 2, and we are going to slip stitch into that same spot where we're doing our trebles to pull that down. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to bring my loop out a little bit. I do want to make sure that the center of my heart is nice and tight. Just depending on the kind of yarn that you use, be careful about pulling too hard, because I can't tell you how many times I've done this and this yarn will just break. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I like to do a square knot to kind of tie things off before I tuck my tails in. So when I break this off, it usually breaks like right down here, and then I have nothing to tie it off with. And it makes this center loop more likely to come undone over time. So to join these 2 suckers, we're doing just a simple slip stitch around the outside edge. And it's a little bit harder at the beginning and the end because you have that chain 2. So what I do is I find where my top loops of those chains are. Ugh. Let's get it through this one up here because this is tight. So do through the top loop instead of trying to go under the whole stitch, if that makes sense. Because if you've ever tried to do a slip stitch or 2 slip stitches into a chain space, you know that it's not exactly the easiest thing to manage. They start to slide and go crazy, and it's just obnoxious. All right, so slip stitch. Do another slip stitch with this other chain. All right, and then we can just go underneath both loops for both pieces once you get to the actual stitches. And I'll show you one of the reasons why I like doing this with 2 different colors in just a second. Oh, here we go. Just make sure you're not missing any stitches as you go. Okay, so I've still got my pink tail hanging out over here so that I can use it to tie off with in a minute. So I've got one more stitch before I get to my chains. All right, so just the top loop. Oop. Okay. So now, this is as simple as trimming your working yarn. Pull that through. We'll tie these and then tuck them down through our heart in just a second. But like I said, the really cool thing about doing the 2 different colors is that when you slip stitch them together, you have that kind of peekaboo color around that outside edge, which I just personally kind of like. So this makes your heart a lot more sturdy if it's going to be used for a keychain or a zipper pull, or you know, just something cute to hang on the side of a purse or handbag or diaper bag. And it's pretty easy to make. It's not time consuming at all. This entire video was so far at 14 minutes. So that's with me stopping and talking and struggling and all that fun stuff. So attach your little keychain hook wherever you would like it to go. I'll do some kind of in the corner or the top part of the heart up here. Some I'll put down in the center just so that it hangs straight versus a little to the side, but up to you. And this is another thing that's just really cute to give as a little Valentine gift to a teacher or a coworker. You know, don't make it anything weird. I've also actually given them to grandparents that like to read. And I would recommend, if you're doing something like that, that you add a little chain to the bottom point. Just attach some yarn, make a chain however long you want it to be, and then slip stitch back up and tie off back here at the tip of the heart, so it's a nice little bookmark. And the heart will stick out the top. That chain will go down through the pages and kind of keep the place marked. And it's a nice, thoughtful little handmade gift. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that was easy enough to kind of understand and follow along. If you have questions, comments, obviously pop them in the box and I will answer them if you have questions. If you would like to see me make something in particular, pop that in the comments. There are some things I'm not allowed to take a video of. So if it's a pattern that you paid for, make sure that there's not anywhere in the pattern that says that a video can't be posted of someone making it. Anyway, there was something else I was going to tell you guys about that, but it has slipped my mind. But happy hooking, crochet nerds, and I will see you guys next time.